Didn't I tell y'all that this was a possibility? I told y'all, man. People be thinking I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this damn game and stuff, but I really be on point with it. So what am I babbling about? It turns out a new Silent Hill game is already under development, and it is a new remake. Now, which remake is it? Silent Hill 3. It's not Silent Hill 1 like a lot of people thought it would be. I'm gonna touch on that video where I explained why I thought this was gonna happen. But a lot of people thought I was crazy about 3 coming right after 2. I get it, there's a lot of people outraged by this because of the story tie-in with 1 and 3. I mean, to be honest, you have to play 1 to understand 3 fully. And if they do not remake 1 before 3, yes, the modern audience is definitely going to be lost. But my question is, does the modern audience really care? Now, I'm going to elaborate on that later as well. But right now, let me just read some of the pinpoint information that was under the file as well. So the code name was Project H. Silent Hill 3 Remake is going to follow the style of the Silent Hill 2 Remake, which I think we all expected. It will have greater focus on survival horror, which means every bullet matters. If you're focusing on extreme survival horror, it just means every bullet counts. Make it count. You can't waste bullets. That's all that means. Contrary with a more solid narrative, and Konami wants the Silent Hill IP to be big, which is understandable because nowadays Silent Hill IP is not as big as it used to be. In the early 2000s, yes, it was a massive IP, but nowadays not so much. So I'm glad Konami is getting everything back together. You got the Silent Hill 2 remake, which is killing it right now. And you got the Metal Gear Snake Eater remake that's coming. I don't know when the fucking release date is because they just will not tell us. They keep showing gameplay, but they won't tell us. But at the end of the day, Konami is just trying to get back in the good graces of the fan base because Konami has had a rough, I would say, last 5 to 6 years. They really haven't been cooking. And there's been controversy with certain Metal Gear games and everything. There's just been a lot of negative stuff around the Konami name. So I'm glad they're getting back to business. And it looks like they're going to be on point because Silent Hill is officially back. I am so glad saying that. I never thought I would be saying this. Silent Hill is actually back. So let's get into the topic at hand. The Silent Hill 3 remake, man. So if y'all remember, about a month ago, I think it's actually 2 months ago, but YouTube says it's a month. I made a video called The Future of Silent Hill, More Remakes Are Coming. Obviously, by the thumbnail, I'm talking about Silent Hill 3 and 4. And I didn't bring up Silent Hill 1 at all. Now, I know that was a bold thing to do. Personally, looking back at it now, I feel like I should have said something like, I should have told y'all why I'm not addressing Silent Hill 1 in this video. I was going to have a separate video. But basically, in this video, it was my theory that Konami is following the footsteps of Capcom. It wasn't oh, this is facts and all that stuff, because I see some of the OG fans don't listen when it comes to Silent Hill videos because they were like, this is not facts. How could you say something like that? Well, if you listen, motherfucker, I said in the beginning of the video, this is my theory on where Konami is going with the Silent Hill franchise. So my whole point was, they're going to follow Capcom's footsteps when it comes to remaking certain games. They are not going to go in order, and they don't have to. Even though Silent Hill 1 is tied to 3 heavily, yes, it makes sense to do 1 before 3. It doesn't mean they have to do it. Take a look at Capcom. Resident Evil 1 did get remade in '02, all the way back in the day. But now in the modern audience era, they remade 2, 3, and 4, and they did not touch 1. Why? Because story doesn't matter sometimes. You remake the most popular things. Now, 3 is not the most popular Resident Evil game, but it was basically DLC if you look at it. It came out like a year after 2, and it was no harm, even if people really didn't mess with it like that. If story and stuff really mattered, they would have released Resident Evil 1 immediately. Before 2, or hell, even after 2, just to make sense. Resident Evil 1 is tied to every damn Resident Evil damn near. The modern audience doesn't know what Jill went through before she ran into Nemesis, like stuff like that. Resident Evil 1 is a pivotal piece in the story. Now, I already know some people would argue that Resident Evil is not a very story heavy game. You don't really have to know the story to enjoy the game, and okay, that is fair, but it doesn't matter. But that's besides the point. There's people that were interested in the Resident Evil story, and they have to go back and play the old 2 remake just to understand it. Now, Silent Hill, even though it is more story driven, yes, that is true, it doesn't matter when it comes to popularity and money. Silent Hill 2 is considered the best Silent Hill in the Silent Hill franchise. So what is the second most popular Silent Hill game? Silent Hill 3. And I remember there was a comment under this video saying, you know, Silent Hill 1 sold more than Silent Hill 3, so this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Why would they remake 3 before 1? Because when the hell does sales equate to the game being better than the next game? That sales do not matter when it comes to the quality of game. Resident Evil 6 was a top-selling Resident Evil game for the longest. That game is not even better than 4, it's not better than 3, it is not better than 2, and it damn sure ain't better than 1. So I don't care what sales say. That's like the most laziest argument possible. So the sales argument is just ridiculous. Everybody knows Silent Hill 3 is the second most popular game out of the franchise. So Konami, like I said in the video, could just look at the opportunity of making the second most popular game for the modern audience, and people are just going to gravitate to it. Are they going to be in love with Heather like they should be? Probably not. They're not going to understand the ending. They're not going to understand the big twist in the middle. They're not going to understand a lot of things. But truth be told, this era of gaming is so different. A lot of people don't give a damn about story. Let's keep it real. I guarantee you right now, if you looked up some people playing Silent Hill 2 Remake and it's their first time playing Silent Hill, they might not even be as invested into the story. They just want to play a game that makes them jump and makes them terrified. That's it. Some people just are like that, especially in this era. It's not the old era where story meant so much to us, and, you know, even more than gameplay at certain points. It's not that era anymore. So that's why I figured that Konami could go this route. Definitely the popularity factor. It's definitely the money factor. And I see people losing their minds all over Twitter saying 1 should get made before 3. And I'm not saying they're wrong, because they're absolutely right. If you want to make everything make sense for people, 1 and 3, you definitely need to go 1 then 3. Me personally, I want 4. I want 4 after 2, especially after seeing the Walter Sullivan newspaper article about him killing the twins. I think that's a great segue just to get right into 4, honestly. Even though it's just one article, that's a great way to get everything started. Could you imagine 4 with the next gen graphics and how Bloober team could make Walter Sullivan more terrifying? I think Silent Hill 4 has the best story out of all the Silent Hill games. I'm not talking about 2 because I have not finished 2 Remake yet. Out of 1 and 3, I think Silent Hill 4 story is so fucking great, bro. I love it. The 21 Sacraments, all that stuff is just ill to me. And I think the game is absolutely horrifying. I know some people don't think Silent Hill 4 is scary, but you eliminate some of the goofy sounding creatures and, you know, the fucking wheelchairs moving by. There was a lot of goofy stuff in there. Could you imagine that game being retooled just a little bit? You know, retool the gameplay. Get rid of the goofy stuff out of the story. Hell, I can't even imagine Walter just being the stalker in that second half of the damn story. Like, thinking about a Silent Hill 4 remake, it has me more excited than a 1 and 3 remake right now. I think they should just take their time with the 1 and 3 and they should get started on 4, but obviously that's not what they're doing. 3 is under development right now, and luckily Bloober team is a part of this. They're doing this. And Bloober team earned the right, and I predicted that as well. Bloober team definitely earned the rights to keep remaking Silent Hill games. And I can't wait to see how they do the Silent Hill 3 remake. And I know a lot of people are upset, but again, just think about it like this. Don't think about it from the modern audience perspective. Think about it from your perspective. You already know what's going to happen. You know the story. If they choose to add certain things to the story to make the story better, it's just a win-win on our end. We already know what's going on. It's just going to be the modern audience that's kind of left out, and that sucks for them, but it is what it is. You just got to look at it from different perspectives. And another thing about the Silent Hill 3 remake, I feel like Bloober team already gets it already, but just in case, do not change Heather's look up at all. Heather needs to stay the same. I don't want them messing with her character. I don't want them to mess with her look. Heather is a badass, and her look is just phenomenal. Silent Hill 3 is such an underrated game. So I just hope Bloober team sticks to the original source when it comes to her design and everything. She does not need to be switched up. Keep her just like James. I know they kind of made a little slight adjustments to James, but James looks phenomenal. They need to do the same thing with Heather. Either if you're gonna do something to amplify her, just like little minor tweaks, cool. But other than that, do not ruin her character design. Heather is such a fucking amazing character. So that would be the only thing I'm kind of concerned about. If you're somebody that's hoping that Silent Hill 1 gets a remake treatment, it actually doesn't look like it's likely right now. Now, why do I say that? Because the leaker actually came out and said, according to what he read, Konami says that making a remake of the first is complicated. Now, I truly don't know how remaking the first game is going to be complicated for them. I truly don't. I mean, we've seen Capcom go back and remake Resident Evil 2, but again, Capcom is the top dogs of this stuff of gaming and remakes in general. Like, they're just not well equipped to do something like that. I mean, it's just not impossible. I just find it kind of funny that they came out and said it's going to be complicated to make the first one. But honestly, I don't know how Konami's expecting the audience to be invested in Silent Hill 3 without knowing what happened in the first game. Like I said earlier, we're in the era of short attention spans. There's going to be a lot of people that don't even give a damn about the story or anything. They just want to be jump scared. That's it. Or not jump scared, just be scared in general. And just have some fun gameplay to do. You know what I'm saying? This is the era we are in. So, though it is controversial, again, I'm not surprised. I made a whole video touching on this. Again, some people in the comments was like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not a real Silent Hill fan. You just got to know how some of these dev teams and companies think when it comes to their game series and making money. Popularity is first, money is tied first as well. And again, if they're saying it's complicated, the remake for Silent Hill 1 is not going to happen. You're not going to get the modern audience to go back and play a PlayStation 1 game. Hell, I don't even want to go back and go play a PlayStation 1 game at this point in my life. I'm just not. So I would never just sit there and tell somebody to go play a pixelated PS1 game. You have to grow up on certain games to go back and play them. You know what I mean? So there's people that won't go back and play the OG Resident Evil 4. There's people that won't go back and go play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas because the controls feel weird to them. You know what I mean? So it's not gonna happen with Silent Hill 1. Nobody's gonna go back and play that. So I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know. Konami's gonna have to figure it out, but they definitely are gonna have to remake number 1. They're going to. They're gonna have to. They really, I'm not going to say they don't have a choice, but they're going to have to do it some way, shape, or form. They're going to have to do it. But it looks like 3 is coming first. I wish 4 was coming next. Then y'all could do the 1 and 3. But nah, me, Bloober team listening, you know, just come holler at your boy, man. I'll give you all the reasons why 4 should be coming out next. I'm just saying. But, man, y'all let me know how y'all feel. Does this make you nervous for the direction of the Silent Hill franchise? Because obviously, it is a big deal skipping the 1 remake. But yeah, let me know how y'all feel. Are y'all excited for a remake of 3? Because although this is controversy, I know the goddamn story, so it doesn't bother me one bit. I can't wait for this. Heather in next-gen graphics, I'm here for it, okay? Silent Hill 3 is the perfect blend of goofiness and horror. It's such an underrated game. It's one of my favorite horror games of all time. But yeah, man, let me know how y'all feel, guys. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate y'all so freaking much. We're almost at 1,000 subs, man. That's really all I got to say. I got some other videos I need to make, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace!